All right, hi folks, and welcome to, we will call it video tutorial number 2. And before we start, I just wanted to post this slide here. Obviously, I'm recording a webinar video for you, but if for any reason you need captioning, transcription, or other types of services like that, please feel free to contact the Disability Resource Center, and the information is posted right here on this slide in front of you. That resource is available for you should you need it, so please feel free to contact them. So in this video tutorial, I wanted to take you guys through the loading of the airport data that you will need for your final project. And as you know, the final project kind of builds on itself week by week. Those are what they call the milestone exercises, and there's a different one each week. We're kind of building up the content for that final document. And so you're going to be using the airport data set for that entire project. But it's the data are a little tricky, and I know we have folks with varying levels of experience in working with data. So I just wanted to get in here and show you guys some tricks and tips that will hopefully make this process a lot less painful. So I'm actually already in the VDI environment, so I'm going to save you guys in the steps of kind of going to the VDI environment. So I'm already on the server, the virtual desktop, and I have already downloaded the airport data set. It is right here, airport data. Again, that is available through the course. If you go into Module 1, which I'm already there right now, and you click on, I believe, Assignment Guidelines and Rubrics, all of the data sets are here in this section, and you can see airport data right here. So you would click on it, download it, but I've already done that. So, and here it is. I'm gonna open up in Excel because I want to take a look at it and show you guys some things. So let's open it up. And one of the things to note, so there are 3 tabs in this data set. One is airports, and this has information on a number of different airports, and it's basically, let me scroll all the way over, it has an airport ID. It's a unique identifier for each airport. It has the name of the airport, the city where that airport is located, the country where the airport is located. There are some codes here. If you get out the final project document that's available through your course and read on what these different things are. And it's important because you'll see that you've got some columns on some of the other tabs that have similar names, but as you read through the document, you realize that even though they have the same names, they're not necessarily the same thing, and that's important. We're going to talk about that in a second. This is the latitude of the airport, longitude. This is altitude. That is actually mislabeled in data sets. I'm going to change it because I'm a stickler for that kind of thing. And there are a couple other fields here. Again, read through your document to determine what those are. But I think the key thing, that there's 3 tabs. Airlines has information on different airlines, the name of the airline. There's some alias. Again, it's not always populated. You'll see there's some other fields here. Again, if you see this one looks very similar to the field in the airports data set. So does this one. There's a call sign, which is the call sign of that airline. The country, notice that there's a country here. There's also a country here in airports as well. But the important thing to note is here that even though they both have the same name, they're actually different things. This country here in airports is the country where that airport is located. With regard to airlines, the country is the country where that airline is incorporated. So this is important because as you guys have been working through the QlikView software, hopefully you're seeing that one of the ways the QlikView software makes connections is it looks for field names that are the same. So when it sees country here and sees country here, it's going to try to join these tables on those field names. The problem is that those 2 fields do not contain the same information, so you don't want QlikView to join on those fields. And that's important. That's why we're going to do some little bit of data manipulation here in a second. Routes is the other tab, and it has information. There's like 59,000 some odd different routes that have taken place, I think, since 2012. There are things like there's the source airport. Let me go all the way over. So the airline is a unique airline identifier. Airline, it's actually an airline name. The airline ID is an ID that's unique associated with the airline name. There's source airport ID, destination airport ID. There's some other things about code share, whether that that route is operated by like a parent or subsidiary company, how many stops on that route, and then the equipment on that route. But this is also important because one of the things to realize is you've got information, right? These are routes, right? So there's a destination and a source. So there's information on, there's this source airport, which is, kind of a 3-letter identifier. There's an airport ID. There's a destination airport, looks the same, destination airport ID, but it doesn't, we still need to get information on those airports, like what country are those airports in, right? That's one of the things we want to know is this airport exercise is specifically about Nigeria marketplace in terms of flights, and the company is trying to get into this marketplace, right? Flights coming into and out of Nigeria. So you've got this great information on all these routes coming into and out of it, but you're kind of blind as to what these are. Like, is this airport in Nigeria? Where is it located? So somehow you need to get these codes, these airports and airport IDs, you need to get the information on where those airports are located by linking with this information here. The problem is that you've got an airport ID field here, right? So you've got, this is sort of a cross-reference table. It has the airport ID, the name of the airport, all the other pertinent airport information, but that field name is not the same as what's here. You've got source airport ID and destination airport ID, and realize that those are two different things, right? So if you were to match the source airport ID to this airport ID, you're going to get the information on the source airport, right? But you also need to know the information on the destination airport ID. So you've got to be able to match this ID, the destination airport ID, with this ID and pull all the information. And then you've also got to match this airport ID with this airport ID and get all the information. But it's really hard to do that matching to the same table. So there are different things we could do. I think the easiest thing to do, and also when that information comes across, you're going to want to know which information pertains to the source airport and which information pertains to the destination airport. So you kind of need those things labeled differently, right? If you were to bring over things just like this, you would have duplicate information. You would have name, city, country. You wouldn't know which one pertained to the source airport, which one pertained to the destination airport. So I think the easiest thing to do is to create an additional tab with this information. So we're going to have this. I'm going to rename this tab here to source airports. And we are going to change all of this information so that it starts with source. So I'm changing this to source airport ID, which is the same field name as we have here. So when QlikView sees that same field name, it's going to be, boom, I need to match on those two, which is what you want. But again, I want to make sure that then all of the information that comes over for the source airports, I can identify it as the source airport information. So I'm going to change these names to all begin with source airport. I'm going to copy this, make this a little easier. I'm going to call this source airport city. I'm going to call this source airport country. Again, you're getting the gist, right? I'm going to make all of those changes because, again, when it comes over, it needs to be distinct to which airport it's linking to. Altitude. And if you don't want to call it source airport, you just want to call it source, that's fine. It's up to you how you want to name these. I'm just being consistent. I think consistency is good. So if you call it source name here, call it source data. It's up to you, but I think keeping the same naming convention makes it easier to understand what's going on. So we have this for the source airports. We need really the same thing for the destination airport. So I'm going to actually, let's just make a copy of this tab. So I'm going to right click, click move and copy, create a copy. I'm just going to insert it right here. I'm going to rename this, right clicking, renaming to destination airports. I'm having some typing problems today. Ports. There we go. And I'm going to change, I'm just going to do I'm doing Control H to replace. So everywhere I have source airport, I'm going to change that to destination airport. Within the sheet, yes, I don't want to do it within the whole workbook because then that's going to go and change it here. So I just want it within the sheet. Replace all. Boom, that worked. And let's just double check. I'm going to expand these out here. Destination airport ID, is that also what it's called in this file? Yes, destination airport ID. Good. Okay, because we want to make sure that, again, QlikView uses column names to determine what things match. There are ways to get around that. We'll look into QlikView in a second. So you can change how it's doing things, but you've got to know how to do some SQL coding. You've got to know some more sophisticated data manipulation languages, and that's really more than we want to teach in this particular course. So this is really an easy way to make sure that you get the right matching on the right fields without having to do a lot of coding work. So let's just make sure. So we've got, let's expand all these. Everything says source here. Yes, we're good. Destination, that looks good. Airlines, do we need to change anything here? The other thing too, this IATA, so we've changed that, so that should be good. Again, this, if you look in the document, like I mentioned, this IATA, this ICAO are actually different than the ones that are here. This one's a 3-digit, the one on the other sheet is a 2-digit. This is a 4-digit, the other one's a 3-digit. So they are not the same things. And you'll find that a lot as you work in different companies. This issue pops up a lot. I think the issue that pops up the most is you'll find things named differently that are actually the same thing. I run into that a lot. I run into that a lot of companies. It happens when different people work on different databases and you get things that have a slightly different name, but they're actually the same thing, and so you have to make these adjustments. It's not uncommon for column names to not be consistent across different tables and different databases. So keep that in mind. It's something you have to make sure. You want to go in and explore the data and clean it up before you kind of go forward and merge things together. So this is country. This is the let's make sure we don't have anything else that says country. We don't want that to I'm going to change this just because I want it to be more specific. I'm going to change this. You don't have to, but I'm going to change it to airline country so that I know, again, what it's talking about, since this country has different meanings in these different tables. So I'm going to change that to airline country. You're welcome to change these. Like, you can change this to airline name. I would not, you do not want to change airline ID. Obviously, that's specific enough anyway to talk about airline ID, but that matches to airline ID here, and that match needs to take place. That's really the key field that needs to be matched on, so you definitely don't want to change the name here. But if you're more comfortable changing some of these names, airline alias, you can do that. You can change some of these if you want. It's up to you. I like to know what I'm looking at when I'm dealing with my data, so I don't have to go back and forth. Although I'll leave that as is. So we've added a tab. We've changed some column names to be a little more specific and make sure things aren't getting joined. John, I'm going to save this as a. I don't want to overwrite the original file, so I'm just going to save it. I actually have been working on this before, but let's save it as airport data revised. I'm going to save it there. And now, when you go to QlikView, you should get the joins happening correctly. So let's open up QlikView. I'm not going to take you through this whole thing. Don't know what's happening there. Let's move on. Okay. So you can start a new project, so you can call it new. You can actually cancel out of this. This wants to take you through things in a wizard format, but you don't have to do this. You can just X out of this and just start a new one. I would come in here and save it though. So let's call this airport. I really can't type airport today. What's going on? Airport data project. New. Let's type new. Save. Okay. Something weird going on with QlikView. That's okay. We'll keep moving along. So again, once you get in here, follow the instructions that you did when you loaded some of that. Remember we worked with the insurance data. Basically what you want to do is come to this edit script area here, and this is where you tell QlikView what information you're trying to bring in, right? I think some of the tutorials they have on the QlikView site walk you through if you were connecting to an actual database. There's some options to do that here. In this case, we have an Excel file, so we want to come into this section. We're going to click on Table Files. Remember we called it Airport Data Revise. We're going to open that. This is important. We have column headings, but sometimes the software doesn't recognize that. You've got to tell it, and the way you do that is to say embedded labels. So we want to tell embedded labels. Note that it then picks up the column names. Remember that we have a number of different tabs in the Excel file. We need to pull them in one by one. So this is the first one. We're going to do source airports first. Let's click next. Again, this is a transformation step. I don't want to go into this, but it has to do mostly with, like say you have data that are in columns, you want to kind of transform them into rows. It's one of the reasons you would use this. We shouldn't need this in this course, so we're going to skip it. Just click next. You can click next. These are some other data things that we shouldn't need in this course. And you can see it's bringing it in. Click finish. You have to go back in and do this for each one of the different tabs. So again, click on revised. Make sure you are selecting the right tab. For some reason, this is just kind of a glitch. It's kind of it's pulling in tables, table names from maybe the last time I tried to load this. Again, just be clear on which tabs you're needing. So let's do destination. Again, we want embedded labels. We're going to click next. We're going to skip this. We're going to skip this, and we're going to click finish. We've got 2 more to go. And we've got source airports. We need airlines is the other one. Again, embedded labels. Click next. Skip that. Click next. Click finish. And 1 more to go. Data revise. And last one is routes. Again, tell it embedded labels, otherwise you won't get those column headings. Click next. Click next. Click next, click finish, and now you can see each one of the tabs is being read in. Each portion of this load code here is where it's reading in the different tabs. So load is telling you where it's coming from. Notice sources airports, or no, the source is source airports. Then you've got destination airports. Then you have airlines. I like to come and double check this and make sure it's got everything. Routes, boom, that's your 4 tabs. If you click OK here, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to save this code, but you actually need to remember click this reload button so that it actually executes the script. So let's click this. It's going to show you what it's pulling in. These 2 should match because again they were really copied from the same thing. Routes, and there you go. This is it will automatically bring this up when you're done, and you can create list boxes here if you'd like to. You don't have to. If you were to choose one of these, like destination airport, it would create a list box over here for you. We can do that just to show you what that looks like. So if you want a destination airport and country, it's going to create a list box for both of those. Let's click OK, that you could use if you wanted to. Again, you don't have to create list boxes, but there you go. This will show you, table viewer is important because it shows you the structure and how it's matching things, and you want to make sure that looks good. So again, you can see that the main thing that's being matched is you have, expand this, destination airport ID is being matched to destination airport ID in the routes. Airline ID is being matched to airline ID in routes, which is correct. And then source airport ID is being matched to source airport ID in this. So this looks good. So this is what you want it to look like. And from here, you can then go in, create charts, create table views, kind of explore the data a little bit so that you kind of know what's going on. But I wanted to make sure it was clear on how to clean up the data before you import it. All right, I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Thanks.